Next. So what is answer? What is answer for this statutory reserve requirement? See, second question is not mentioning about repayment. It says to make people's deposits with the bank safe and liquid. What happens if any commercial bank is keeping your money safe and liquid? It should not be holding your money safe and liquid, rather it should be lending your money into the market. మనం డిపాజిట్ చేసిన మనీ బ్యాంక్ యాజ్ టీజ్గా పెట్టుకుంది అనుకోండి సేఫ్గా, హౌ కమ్ ఇట్ పే యూ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ రేట్ ఆన్ డిపాజిట్స్? Therefore, it should not be keeping your money with the bank, rather it should be putting the money in the market. So take out the two. Answer is A. Then come to teaser loans. It was old question. Teaser loans are considered to be an aspect of subprime lending, and banks may be exposed to the risk of defaulters in the future. You know why this question was asked? Most of you were in school, I guess, at that time. In 2008-9, something happened in America. It is called subprime crisis or subprime lending crisis. In that context, teaser loans were asked in UPSC. What is subprime crisis in America that made majority of banking giants in America, both public and private, go bankrupt? They started giving loans at lucrative interest rates without verifying the repayment ability of borrowers. As a result, what happened? Real estate sector got much boost in America, and it led to further fall in the later times. Imagine, this is very commonsensical question, very interesting topic. Unlike Indian market, job markets in developed countries are mostly ad hoc in nature. You know this fact? మన దగ్గర లైఫ్లో ఒకసారి ఉద్యోగం వస్తుంది, అందులో రిటైర్ అవుతాం, తర్వాత పోతాం ఉద్యోగం నుంచి, అన్నిటి నుంచి. ఇన్ అమెరికా ఫ్రీక్వెంట్లీ దే చేంజ్ దేర్ జాబ్స్. 3 years ఓ పని చేస్తా, అనదర్ 3 years ఐ డూ అనదర్ జాబ్. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్? నేచర్ ఆఫ్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఈజ్ నాట్ పర్మనెంట్, రాదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మోర్ ఆఫ్ ad hoc or temporary in nature. So today I got a good job, I am getting good salary. By looking at my current job, banks are running after me to provide housing loans so that I can buy a nice apartment in Manhattan. So young generation like you with a lot of aspirations, they did not say no. What happened? I got a job, I got a loan, I purchased a flat. 2 years, the current job was gone. I started defaulting on my EMIs. Then I am scared that bank would come to me, and what did I do? I left the place. Those places, those new flats were uninhabited. When bank people came, the property was vacant. How banks can recover money? They can't push me to pay money because I am jobless. Suddenly na udyogam poyindi. Resale. Who will buy that? By the time other sectors were receding, recession is already seen in America. Then what happens? No, when recession happens, would you spend more or less? You save. That means the other day we discussed about aggregate demand. Consumers, will they spend more or save more? When you save more, would you buy a house? Therefore, banks failed in collecting the EMIs, at the same time in disposing the vacant property. As a result, what happened? NPAs shot up. As a result, what happened? Filed for bankruptcy. Now, in the entire concept, which is to be blamed? That teaser loan, right now, you check into that. Teaser loans are considered to be an aspect of subprime lending, and banks may be exposed to the risk of defaulters in future, right? In India, teaser loans are mostly given to inexperienced entrepreneurs. No. Teaser loans are given to experienced entrepreneurs. Why teaser loans? Relatively, they have less interest rates. I said this many times. When this happened, we do not have information sharing among all the PSBs in India. So, if you understand, people like Vijay Mallya has made a scam because of this loophole in the system, banking system. I got a property, I use the property document, get loan from SBI. And then the same property I just show to PNB and get the loan. What happens? Punjab National Bank and State Bank of India do not have information sharing. Today, it is not working like that. Today, we got a very good coordination between the banks. That's a different story. In that context, look into the second statement. The teaser loans are mostly given to inexperienced entrepreneurs. No, it was given to proved big players in the market. Why? Listen, teaser loans are risky. If you give teaser loans to budding entrepreneurs, there is higher risk of defaulting. If you give teaser loans to established entrepreneurs in the market, the risk of default is relatively less. As simple as that. So one is right. Next one is about retail investors through demat accounts can invest in treasury bills and government of India debt bonds in the primary market. Who are these retail investors? Can I invest or you invest in government treasury bills? Individually, we can't do that. We need to go through an investment company. Okay, next. The negotiated dealing system order matching is a government securities trading platform of the Reserve Bank. This was in news in 2021, particularly when budget was presented after COVID. This was in news, so that is the reason why it was given in the exam. Now, third point is interesting. Central Depository Services jointly promoted by RBI and Bombay Stock Exchange. RBI doesn't merge hands with any of the private agencies. Why? Does your election commission hires any private agency to manufacture EVMs? Who is manufacturing EVMs? Another PSU. What is the logic here? The moment RBI enters into a partnership with any stock exchange, don't you find that those investors in that stock market, like jobbers, etc., they do have privy to some sensible information? RBI never ties up with any of the stock exchanges. Why? I am the controller of a SEBI is a controller of stock exchange. What is the purpose of RBI to enter into a partnership with any stock exchange? That would be compromising the position of SEBI. Already we had an ugly war. What is that? SEBI and IRDA fought like school students. Nadanta Nadani. On what? ULIPs. What is ULIP? Okay, good. Read some standard textbook, my friends. Everything is given in standard textbooks. You're supposed to read them. You're supposed to know these things. Next. Again, commercial paper, certificate of deposit, call money, and zero coupon bonds. Now, look into the first statement. Commercial paper is a short-term, unsecured promissory note, right? Certificate of deposit is a long-term instrument. Again, certificate of deposit is a short-term instrument. So, long-term is a wrong word. So, that is, and again, see the fun. Issued by who? Does RBI issue certificate of deposit? No. The two errors statement. One, it is not long-term and it is not issued by RBI. Next. Call money is a short-term finance used for interbank transactions. Absolutely right statement. Fourth one, zero coupon bonds are interest-bearing short-term bonds issued by SCBs. The name itself says zero coupon. It means, just a minute, zero interest. What do you mean by zero interest in this case? Then why you buy that bond? There is no interest. Then why do you buy it? Panleda? Less than face value. So, fourth is wrong. And RBI doesn't issue certificate of deposit, that is wrong. So, first is right. Second is wrong. Third is right. Fourth is wrong. 1 and 3 are right. C. Next. Reserve Bank of India manages and services Government of India securities, but not any state government securities. State same papan chestuni. Next. Treasury bills are issued by the Government of India and there are no treasury bills issued by state government. Absolutely right statement. What is a alternative for state governments? SDL, State Development Loan. If you are from Andhra Pradesh, you get to know this. Why? Every month your CM or finance minister has to go to RBI and ask for what? SDL. Next. By the way, why either central government or state government issue treasury bills or state development loans? What is the purpose of pooling money by selling treasury bills? To invest in infrastructure? Huh? Yes. Whenever government is borrowing through various means, what is the purpose of that borrowing? Subsidies, schemes, social welfare expenditure. How much should be on infrastructure? How much should be on social welfare expenditure? Heard about disinvestment? What is the rule in disinvestment? Is there any ratio? How much is allowed to be spent on social sector and how much is allowed to be spent on infrastructure? You don't know. So focus on that area. Honestly, how many of you attempted in 2024? Prelims in 2024. Okay, Dinchu. Nobody in the class. Okay, so let us move forward. The answer is first statement is wrong. And fourth statement, treasury bills offer is issued at a discount from par value, right? Treasury bills are issued by Government of India. There are no treasury bills by state government, right? So 2 and 3 are right. Next, India's decision to levy an equalization tax of 6% on online advertisement services offered by NRI entities, non-resident entities. Which of the following statements are correct? It is introduced as part of Income Tax Act. If you are good in polity, you can answer this economy based question. Any taxes are introduced in which bill? There are two bills, my friends, money bill and finance bill. This is introduced in which bill? Finance bill. So it says a Finance Act. It says Income Tax Act. That is wrong. It should be Finance Act. Next thing, resident entities that offer advertisement service in India can claim a tax credit in their own home country. The very purpose is to avoid double taxation avoidance agreements. Why would they be allowed to claim the tax credit in their home country? They are allowed to claim the tax credit here in India, not in their home country. Remove that. So, first statement is wrong. What change would make first statement right? Finance Act. So, second statement is wrong. So, answer is none. If you observe, in economy, none is a rarest option. None is a rarest option. So, mostly when you're caught between none or only two, go with only two or only one. Very rarely, neither would be the answer. Very rarely. Next. This is about FRBM because at that time there was an amendment in 18. FRBM Review Committee report has recommended a debt to GDP ratio of 60% for general government. What is general government, my friends? General government definition is given by Economic Survey. General government means central government plus state governments together is equal to general government. Most of the economy textbooks did not give this fact, but it was mentioned by Economic Survey. General government definition adi. Central government plus state governments put together is general government. Look into the statement. Has recommended a debt to GDP ratio of 60% for general government by 2023, comprising 40 for central government and remaining 20 for state governments. Right. What is the purpose of FRBM? Now, in this context, what are you supposed to learn? FRBM has given targets and FRBM was amended later. Which committee? NK Singh committee. What are the recommendations of NK Singh committee and how they are different from earlier FRBM features? These three areas you're supposed to prepare for the exam. Next. First statement is right. Second statement. The central government has domestic liabilities of 21% of GDP as compared to that of 49% of GDP of state governments. No. For state governments, it is more than 70%. State governments, generally we say the statement, even our chief minister, former chief minister in Telangana, KCR చాలాసార్లు చెప్పాడు, we are having more responsibilities and limited funds అని. So the statement is wrong. Next, as per the Constitution of India, it is mandatory for a state to take central government's consent for raising any loan. Of course, that is a fact. Why? Between state government and any foreign government or any foreign ECB, central government should be the guarantor. Next. So third statement is right, first statement is right, second statement is wrong. Now come to fiscal stimulus. Why fiscal stimulus? When any sector is underperforming, government want to induce growth in that sector. As a result, it will give stimulus, fiscal stimulus. What do you mean by that? Public sector banks have received a lot of fiscal stimulus because of increasing NPAs. Amartya Sen has written a lengthy article on this in Indian Express. Look into the statement. It is a massive investment by the government in manufacturing sector to ensure the supply of goods to meet the demand surge caused by rapid economic growth. When economy is rapidly growing, you don't have to intervene and pump money into the sector. Why? Banks will give them loans. People will invest in those companies. Fiscal stimulus comes into picture only when economy is recovering from slowdown or recession. So first statement is wrong. It is an intense affirmative action of the government to boost economic activity. This is the answer. Stimulus is given to enhance growth or to create growth. Next, C statement. It is government's intensive action on financial institutions to ensure disbursement of loans to agriculture. Why only agriculture? Whatever sector is having more potential to grow, government will pump money into that sector. Next, come to next question. So answer for that question is B, intense affirmative action to boost economic activity. Next is demand pull inflation, right? Interesting question. You answer this. What is expansionary policies? Should we consider expansionary fiscal policy or monetary policy or both? Achha, look into the options. With reference to Indian economy, demand pull inflation can be caused or increased by which of the following? What is demand pull inflation? If you know the definition, you can get the answer. Inflation is price of increase in price of goods or service. What is demand pull inflation? If people are demanding the same good in more quantity, that means you want to consume that good in more quantity, right? Now, what is expansionary policy? Let us focus on monetary policy and expansionary monetary policy. It leads to what? Decrease in repo rate. Decrease in repo rate leads to what? Aggressive borrowing. By who? By business houses. Why they are borrowing? Produce more. Why they are producing more? Will somebody produce any good if there is no demand in the market? Because there is demand, you started producing more. So expansionary policy is right. Acha, what could be the explanation if this is fiscal policy? Expansionary fiscal policy. Expansionary fiscal policy means government is increasing social sector spending and government is reducing taxation. Let us consider social sector spending includes pension, includes scholarship, includes stipend. As a result, it leads to what? More disposable income in that segment of population. What do they do with that money? Will they open their FD account? They buy goods. That means demand for goods. That is called inflation, demand related inflation. What about decrease in tax rates? That is part of expansionary fiscal policy. What happens if government reduce tax rates? The other day we discussed, right? Disposable income increases. What do you do if disposable income is increased? You buy more. What happens if you demand for a good in more number? Demand increases. That is called as demand pull inflation. What is the answer then? First should be in your answer. Very good. What about fiscal stimulus? Fiscal stimulus is, as I said, government pumping money into a sector, whether it is primary, secondary, tertiary, whatever it is. So more money leads to what? Imagine government want to push one particular sector, that is manufacturing of fans, and government says let us give soft loan to all those people who are manufacturing these fans. When those manufacturers of fans got fiscal stimulus from the government, what do they do with that money? They buy raw materials, they hire more people. Again, it is leading to what? Demand pull inflation. Next, inflation indexing wage. Inflation indexing wage will have a neutral effect, rather it doesn't give you excess money for disposal. Why? This price is 100 rupees. Today my salary is 1000. I need one every month. It increased by 150 and 50 rupees berigindi. Now new price is 150. My salary increased by 50 rupees, 1050. Have I saved more? My savings doesn't undergo change because my wages are increasing in accordance to inflation rate. Therefore it would negate my savings. Then what is a positive thing because of inflation indexed wage? It doesn't eat away my pocket. I don't have to spend more for consumption of same goods. That is advantage. So inflation indexing wages doesn't cause demand pull inflation. No. Then higher purchasing power. Obviously higher purchasing power leads to what? Demand for goods. Next, rising interest rates do not lead to inflation, rather they pull down inflation. Remove 5, remove 3, 1, 2, 4 are your answers. Okay, next, come to question number 25. The weightage of food in consumer price index is higher than that in wholesale price index. Why? What is the difference between CPI and WPI? Adadigara. It is about weightage of food in consumer price index higher than wholesale price index. Focus on food. CPI index is always have more weightage for food. I don't know. I think first batch when I have explained this CPI versus WPI, I have drawn some tables, if you remember. What did I say? Don't memorize. Try to memorize either in ascending or descending order regarding weightage of each item. If you followed that, you would have got this question right. So first statement is right. Second, WPI does not capture change in price of services. Very basic thing. Why? Wholesale and endi? I am buying tomatoes in great number from me, retail shops will buy. Can you do that for services? What is the example for service? Healthcare. Can somebody offer healthcare at wholesale level and retail level? What does it mean? Or education. So services are only at a consumer level because they are consumed immediately. ఈవేళ ఐఫోన్ కొన్నా 1 year తర్వాత వాడచ్చు, బట్ ఈవేళ జ్వరం వస్తే 1 year తర్వాత హాస్పిటల్కి పోకూడదు. ఎందుకు? అప్పుడు మనం ఉండం. నెక్స్ట్, సో సెకండ్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఈజ్ స్పాట్ ఆన్. వెరీ బేసిక్ కాన్సెప్ట్, రైట్ స్టేట్మెంట్. నౌ కమ్ టు ద థర్డ్ వన్. ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్. RBI has now adopted WPI as its key measure of inflation and to decide on changing the key policy rates. Is that true? RBI doesn't follow WPI, rather it follows CPI. CPI combined, yeah. Next. Now, so take out 3 and your first statement and second statement are correct. Next, 26th question. India has experienced persistent and high food inflation in the recent past. What could be the reasons? Let us see. Due to gradual switchover to cultivation of commercial crops, the area under cultivation of food grains has steadily decreased in the last 5 years by about 30%. Is that true? Is that true in India? Imagine by 30% if area under cultivation of food grains is decreasing, India would face food scarcity. So that number is very worrying. It is very scary. So that statement can never be true. Then, as a consequence of increasing incomes, in which year the question is asked, 2011, right? How do you know that increasing incomes is a fact at that time? 2009 and 10 are best years for Indian economy. We touched double-digit GDP growth rate in 2009, I guess. Next. Increasing incomes, the consumption patterns of people have undergone a significant change. This is a very natural corollary in economy. When your income levels are increasing, what do? Your consumption basket undergoes diversification. If your income levels are decreasing, you consume less diverse food. Why? You want to save because you don't have money. Next. So second statement is right. Third one, food supply chain has structural constraints. Yes. Even today, there is a mismatch between farm and the fork. So third is right, second is right, first can never be right. What is your answer? One is wrong, 2, 3. Next. This is about casual workers. If you read Shankar Ganesh or NCRT, there are 3 facts where you're supposed to memorize regarding unemployment or employment. What are they? URP ante endi? Uniform recall. Oh God. Unemployed rate. Period. Payment. What is the criteria to identify somebody is employed or unemployed? Labor. ఎట్లా అవుతుంది ప్రిలిమ్స్ ఇంత దరిద్రంగా చదువుతుంటే? ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, ఫస్ట్ స్టేట్మెంట్, ఆల్ క్యాజువల్ వర్కర్స్ ఆర్ ఎంటైటిల్డ్ ఫర్ ఎంప్లాయీస్ ప్రావిడెంట్ ఫండ్ కవరేజ్. సెకండ్, విల్ కమ్ టు దట్. UPSC డ్రాప్ దిస్ క్వశ్చన్, I guess. All casual workers are entitled for regular working hours and overtime payments. The government can, by notification, specify that an establishment of industry shall pay wages only through its bank account. Third statement is true. But regarding first and second statements, there are some discrepancies. How do you know this? Look into the first point. All casual workers are entitled for employees provident fund coverage. Who is a casual worker? Or what kind of employment you call it as a casual work? Ad hoc or permanent? When somebody is working as an ad hoc employee, can we allow them to become part of provident fund coverage? I'll give an example. The answer is yes. Imagine I am working in Narayana College. Is that a permanent job? 2 years I left Narayana, joined Chaitanya. What happens to my PF account? There were reforms in PF account. In the beginning, whenever you change an organization or join an organization, you have to open a new PF account. But the reforms ensured that an employee, whether it is casual worker or permanent worker, only once you're supposed to open PF account. Account is transferred from one organization to another organization. Rather, you don't have to open new account. So, first statement is true. Problem is with second statement. Now, all casual workers are entitled for regular working hours and overtime payment. Again, the same example. Whenever there is a NEET exam or whenever there is MCET exam, how many hours your faculty stay with you in Narayana Chaitanya? 9 కి 5కి పోతారా? వాళ్ళు బోరు, మనల్ని బోనియరు, మనల్ని పడుకోనియరు, 1 గంట దాకా ఉంచుతారు. ఆర్ ది గివెన్ ఓవర్, వాట్ యు కాల్ దట్, OT? Yes, sir. No. Anybody from Narayana Chaitanya? Nobody. We know how exploitative these organizations are. Faculty కి extra డబ్బులు ఏమి ఇవ్వరు. And trust me, I worked in that, so I know. Second statement is wrong. 1 and 3 are right. I think UPSC dropped this question. So in 2021, Maurya, did it drop? UPSC drop చేసిందా? Okay, I guess it is. Okay, let us move to the next one. Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So what about these government schemes? The other day also we've seen, I think, Matritva Yojana, etc., etc. At least 1 to 2 schemes from economy are given consistently in exam. And what kind of schemes are asked? Old schemes or recent schemes? New schemes? New schemes. More or less there will be 10 to 15. Let us by heart them. And what should be the criteria when you read a scheme? 1. Beneficiaries. Second, age limit. Third, income. Okay. Mostly these three are good enough. You don't have to worry about sector. Okay. Mostly. Next question. Come to Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Ministry of Labor and Employment. Which ministry is a brainchild of this Kaushal Vikas Yojana? Kaushal Vikas is what? Skill development. Have you got a ministry for that? Yes. So, Ministry of Labor and Employment is not the right statement. Second question, second statement. Among other things, will also impart training in soft skills. That is why Kaushal Vikas, skill development. Third, aims to align the competencies of unregulated workforce of the country to the national skill qualification framework. Yes. What happens if it is aligned? That certification will be valid even in other countries. How do you know that? People from Kerala using this, they are going to Middle East and finding well-paid jobs, particularly in construction sector. Next. So what is the answer? Take out 1 because it should be Minister of Skill Development. Take it out. 2, 3 are answers. Come to small farmer large field. It was in news at that time. Look into the statement. Resettlement of large number of people uprooted from their countries due to war by giving them a large cultivable land which they cultivate collectively and share the produce. The statement seems to be very generous and kind. Next. Marginal farmers in an area organize themselves into groups, synchronize, harmonize selected agricultural operations. This was suggested by late M.S. Swaminathan in India. I think in 2017 or so, when he came to Hyderabad, I still remember. Economic Times journalist has asked a question to Mr. Swaminathan that whatever advantages we got from Green Revolution, the negative impacts have outlived the positive impact of Green Revolution. And he suggested 2 things in that context. I still remember that. His interview was published in newspapers. He said, future is all about what? 2 things. Unless until you adopt these 2 things, you can never revive Indian agriculture. And what was the dream of current Prime Minister? DFI, doubling farmers' income by? Already అయిపోయింది అది. We passed that year. Then what happens? You push the target year. Which state doubled its farmers' income? This could be a statement. Orissa. కనీసం వేగ్ గెస్ కూడా చేయలేము ఇది. Where you get such information? Economic survey. Very simple. Now the question is, 2 solutions to revive Indian agriculture. 1, contract farming. Second one, corporate farming. There are no other agendas. In contract farming, what happens? And he also suggested that you just stimulate cooperative society model in White Revolution in agriculture. What happened in White Revolution? Anand Milk United Limited was established. So, that is called as Amul. What are the successful areas in terms of White Revolution? It enhanced farmers income by many fold. Why don't you replicate the same thing? Miku, I don't know whether you are from village background or not, పాల కేంద్రాలు ఉండే తెలుసా? Why don't we find such a kind of cooperation at the level of farming? Again, there is only one answer. If you are from sociology or anthropology background, you know this answer. Why you can never unite farmers at the level of village? Because your villages are highly stratified because of caste. So second statement is answer. Come to next question, 30th. Yeah. Which of the following can be considered as public investment in agriculture? Fixing MSP for agriculture produce of all crops. Is that considered as investment? Is MSP an investment in agriculture? MSP is a kind of insurance cover to agriculture. What is MSP, by the way? You produce paddy or wheat. If you can sell it in the market, you can sell it in the market. In the worst scenario, nobody is there to buy that product from you. I will buy it at so and so rate. That is called MSP. And when government decides a price to buy a product from the farmer, that is not investment. That is rather the price paid for the product. Investment comes in what context? Before the crop is produced. Next. Computerization of primary agricultural credit societies. Very valid point. So this should be part of the answer. Next. Social capital development. This is slightly controversial. What do you understand by social capital development? What is social capital? Acha. Then what is human capital? So there is no skill development in social capital or what? Social capital ante enti? At the level of village think, you know the answer. Sanitation. Sorry, let us park it. Let us see that whether the trick will be working in this context or not. Free electricity supply to farmers. What happens when you give free electricity? Is that investment? Let us see. Waiver of agricultural loans by the bank system. Adi investment. Waiver is about after you have put every single rupee from your pocket. So take out 5 from the question. Any options? Come to 6th point. Setting up of cold storage facilities by government. Wonderful investment in terms of agriculture. There should be 6, there shouldn't be 5. There should not be 1, there should be 2. I don't know about 3, let us imagine. And there should not be 4. Any combination? 2, 3, 6. I have observed one basic thing. You can use it in environment and SNT. Whenever in SNT regarding any technological application a question is asked, if they are giving you 6, 7 points, mostly all of them will be the answer. And as I said, I have been through this UPSC journey as a student, and I have attempted 6 mains and I've been to 3 interviews. So based on that, I can firmly say, if you don't know anything and you feel that attempting a question from SNT module, and that question is speaking regarding application of a technology, mostly answer should be all of them. Why? Imagine I am the examiner. I decided to give a question on one particular technology from SNT. I have to Google a lot so that I get to know in which context this technology is not applied. What is easy for me? Entani search cheyali nenu? What is easy? Nenu kuda manishine kada. So, and if you follow this trick next year and unfortunately your question goes wrong, it is on you. See, I strongly believe that prelims is a knowledge game. Your ట్రిక్స్, టిప్స్, టెక్నిక్స్ ఇంకిట్లాంటి పదాలు ఏమైనా ఉంటే దే కమ్ ఇన్ టు పిక్చర్ ఓన్లీ వెన్ యు గాట్ సాలిడ్ నాలెడ్జ్ బేస్. ఐ యూస్ టు అప్లై ట్రిక్స్ చాలాసార్లు చెప్పాను నేను, బట్ నాట్ without this knowledge base. Again, what is knowledge base? We discussed in the strategy session, I think 2 weeks ago. Anybody with sound knowledge, whenever they are making some intelligent guessing, there are high chances of getting that question right. కానీ మీరేం చేస్తారంటే నాలెడ్జ్ బేస్ పక్కన పెడతారు. యూ డోంట్ వాంట్ వర్క్ హార్డ్ అండ్ యూ డిపెండ్ ఆన్ సమ్ ట్రిక్స్ అండ్ టిప్స్. యూ గో టు ఎగ్జామ్ అండ్ దెన్ యూ డూ గ్యాంబుల్. అట్లా వర్కౌట్ కాదు. నెక్స్ట్, so running out of time, yeah. Kisan credit scheme, if we observe continuously, this was in 2020. Why in 2020 Kisan credit card scheme was in news? Modi has made a statement regarding this. What is that? Heard about PM Kisan Samman Nidhi? In that context, in the launch of that scheme, he spoke on Kisan credit card scheme. Now look into the statements. Farmers are given this card for what? Working capital, or any credit card is for working capital. How do we use credit card? How do we use credit card? Because we don't have money, we are borrowing from the bank and we want to pay it later. Put farmer in the context. I want money to buy seeds. I'm using credit card, going to the shop, swiping credit card, getting seeds. What do you call that? Write down. Look into the statement. Working capital for maintenance, right? Purchase of combine harvesters, tractors and mini trucks. Oh God. With that credit card, you can't buy these things. No, honestly, what is the price of this? Have you ever wondered about the paradox of Indian agriculture? Indian economy is the largest producer of farm machinery and India has lowest machinery presence in agriculture. Idi adbhutam. We are making lot of equipment, mechanized equipment in agriculture, but it is not used in India. Then who are buying it from us? We are exporting it. Why Indian farmer is not using it? Why there is poor mechanization in agriculture? 2 reasons, fundamental reasons. Fragmented land holdings. How many farmers are small and marginal in India? Around 80. What is average land size? 2 to 3 acres. Em chestam mechanization? You would be bankrupt if you go for mechanization. Why can't these people unite and pool their lands? Social stratification, caste comes into play. SCs to galavru, OBCs to galavru, OCs lo వాళ్ళు galavru. That is why agriculture is in crisis. Next. So second one is a very big dream. So just take it out. Consumption requirements of farm households. Yes. Post-harvest expenses. What is post-harvest expense? 2 things. Storage. And what is storage? Anybody from Guntur, you might know this. Mirchi adlo double gattala. Mirchini store cheyalante. For that, PM Kisan credit card is allowed even now. Then construction of family home. See, and setting up of village cold storage facility. These things are highly, what do you call that? It involves high expenditure. So that is not possible with this credit card. So take out 5. There should be 4 in the answer. Take out 5, take out 5. So B is the answer. But you're supposed to take out 2 also. Even there are options. 2 should not be in the answer. And setting up of cold storage should not be in the answer. So 1 should be there, 3 should be there, 4 should be there. Okay, right. I just want to discuss one more topic. Very interesting thing. Not seed village concept. Come to 39th question. 39th question. Tight monetary policy. What is tight monetary policy? Contractionary. Remember that. Of US Federal Reserve could lead to capital flight. What do you mean by that? I don't get more profits if I put my money in American market. What do? I take it out and put it somewhere else. What do you call that? Flight of capital from America. Remember this. Capital flight may increase cost of firms with existing ECBs. Did you understand this question? Before we discuss this, what is ECB? External commercial borrowing. There are two ways. When your government is borrowing from outside country, we call it as a sovereign loan. When firms are borrowing outside the country, we call it ECB. Therefore, in ECB, there is no government borrowing. First clarity. Imagine, I represent Reliance Industries. I am borrowing from other countries. What do you call that? External commercial borrowing. Remember this. Now, look into the second statement. Capital flight may increase cost of firms. Firm is Reliance here. With existing ECBs. Why? Why? Already I got ECBs. I borrowed money from various countries. Whenever there is cost of flight of capital, why would it increase the cost on me? Am I borrowing within my country? No. So from my country, if the capital is moving out, I don't mind. What is my worrying thing? Outside, country should say no to my borrowing. I am borrowing from outside. Whether the flight capital is staying in my country or leaving my country, doesn't matter. Because individually I am getting money from other countries. నేను ECBs borrow చేస్తే capital ఇండియాలో ఉంటుంది పోతేయింది. Come to the third statement. So UPSC dropped this, but interesting question. Devaluation of domestic currency, very interesting thing, decreases currency risk associated with ECB. How many of you understand the statement? Forget about right or wrong. Try to understand the statement. Anybody who understands this, I think you are an expert in economy. In which context any currency is devalued? In which context? We discussed in the class, I think I've explained about India, China, America in the context of iPhone. Deliberate devaluation is done by who? RBI, only to stay competitive in your exports. Why? Imagine my currency is appreciated, right? Who will benefit? My importers. What happens to my exporters? But China and India are exporting iPhones to America, but my exporters are going through losses. China is grabbing the advantage. What should I do? Deliberately devalue. Then devaluation of currency leads to what? Depreciation of currency, right? Appreciation of dollar. Why I'm doing that? To stay competitive in the trade competition between me and my neighbor. Did you get the concept? Devaluation of currency eppudu chestaru? Only when you want to stay competitive in the context of exports. Now come to the next part of the statement. Devaluation of domestic currency decreases currency risk associated with ECB. Why? Decrease avudda currency risk with ECB, increase avudda. You understand what is devaluation of domestic currency? Now come to the second part of the question. Let us consider me as an entrepreneur. America నుంచి $1,000 అప్పు తెచ్చుకున్నా. When I borrowed $1,000 from America, exchange rate is $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Right? What is devaluation? $1 is equal to 100 now. I have to pay back my ECB. Right? Again, how much I have to pay? Some generous investor did not charge interest. Again, $1,000 ఇవ్వాలి. తెచ్చుకున్నప్పుడు ఆ $1,000 కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తే నాకు ఎంత డబ్బులు వచ్చినాయి? ఇండియన్ కరెన్సీ 8 lakhs, 80,000. యా 80,000. ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు ఎంత ఇవ్వాలి? 1 lakh. నాకు రిస్క్ ఉందా లేదా? ఉంది. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద స్టేట్మెంట్? రిస్క్ తగ్గిందా పెరిగిందా? మరి డిక్రీజ్ అని ఉంది. డిడ్ యు అండర్స్టాండ్ ద క్వశ్చన్? దిస్ ఈజ్ వేర్ రేర్గా వస్తాయి ఇట్లాంటి అద్భుతాలు. బ్రేక్ చేయండి స్టేట్మెంట్ని. దిస్ స్టేట్మెంట్ హ్యాస్ గాట్ టూ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ ఇన్ ఇట్. You are supposed to know what is the depreciation of domestic currency, why RBI initiates depreciation of domestic currency, and what is the relation with currency appreciation depreciation for those firms whenever they are depending on ECBs. డాలర్స్ తెచ్చా, కన్వర్ట్ చేసా, మళ్ళీ రూపీస్ కన్వర్ట్ చేసి డాలర్స్ వెనక్కి కట్టాలి. సో యామ్ ఐ నాట్ స్పెండింగ్ మోర్ ఇండియన్ కరెన్సీ టు రీపే మై ఈసీబీ? సో డోంట్ యూ థింక్ దట్ మై రిస్క్ ఈజ్ ఇంక్రీస్డ్? Imagine $1 is equal to 80, I borrowed $1,000. $1 is equal to 50. Then what happens? Who am I profiting or not? I'm getting profit or not? So that could be a statement. Who profits? Who loses? So again, very good question where you apply the concept. Okay. So though the question is deleted by UPSC, I would say you take out 3, take out 2. Acha, 1 only ledu. Okay. Okay. So yeah, first statement is right, remaining statements are not right. 40th question, last question, and then we'll leave. Again, very interesting. One advice from my side is, the other day student has asked me, the way I have explained the aggregate demand, atla etla cheyali, atla cheyali, manave cheyali, atla meeku cheppaledu, it was not taught to you by a faculty in that way. You do it on your own. And he asked me, మీ notes పంపిస్తారు. Don't do that. Don't change the source. ఆ ఫ్యాకల్టీ నోట్స్, ఈ ఫ్యాకల్టీ నోట్స్, ఆ మెటీరియల్ ఇన్ని మార్చకూడదు. Depend on the same source. Every faculty teaches economy, but they don't teach environment in the context of economy. So you are not able to identify the way you can make such content out of the notes given to you. So work on that. ఆ స్కిల్ డెవలప్ చేయండి. ఫ్యాకల్టీ నోట్స్ మార్చొద్దు, మెటీరియల్ మార్చొద్దు. Whatever, wherever institute you have studied, that is good, I guess. So work over how to bring so many dimensions, and on those lines I try to teach the entire economy within 20 to 25 hours in rapid revision program, mostly from Feb 1st. Okay, but entire syllabus చెప్తానే చెప్పను, and you understand, I understand, humanly impossible. So I identify important areas, will focus on making some tables and getting some relationships between different variables in economy. Even in the context of FII and FDI, don't read lengthy content. Pros and cons of FII, pros and cons of FDI, over. And don't write lengthy statements. Increase arrow, decrease arrow, upward, downward. Just establish relationship. Now, as I said the other day, inflation is increasing. What happens to FDI? Inflation increasing, what happens to FII? Rupee depreciating, FII. Rupee appreciating, FDI. Try to come up with these relationships. Chalo, let us look into the question. 40th question. It is about fill and badindi cheppanu kada. We got a wonderful team. It is FII. Okay. Differences between FDI and FII. FII helps bring better management skills and technology, while FDI only brings in capital. Statement was given in reverse. What actually happens? FDI brings with it technology and FII just brings money. So A is wrong. Come to B. FII helps in increasing capital availability in general, while FDI only targets specific sectors. Fine. How do you know this? Imagine I want to invest in leather technology and I am an FDI. When I bring my money, would I invest in pharma? Would I invest in railways? What is my select sector? Leather industry. Why? Because I got an invention for which I got an IPR in America. What do? I collaborate with a leather company based in India, and with my technology I take part of that company, and together in collaboration we move forward and bring down a new product. FDI is always specific regarding to a sector, while FII is about what? Invest money in the stock market, secondary market, make money, just get out of India. So second, B is right. Come to third statement. FDI flows only into the secondary market, while FI targets primary market. No, reverse actual. Now come to last one. FII is considered to be more stable than FDI. Again, reverse. FII is also called as volatile investment. Why volatile? That is why, in terms of FII, we don't have to celebrate. Unfortunately, the government claims everything as its success, but in general, your FII is increasing, you should be worrying. Why? Array, that fellow doesn't stay long. What should do? What is the challenge in FII? Sudden flow of FII. How it is influencing your exchange rate? ఇది చెప్పండి పోదాం ఇంటికి. More dollars are coming into India and they convert the dollars into rupees. So which currency is in more demand? Rupee demand is increasing. Dollar availability is అమ్మ డాలర్స్ వస్తున్నాయి కదమ్మా. Dollar supply is increasing. When any product supply is increased, what happens to its value? That means dollar value is decreasing. What do you call that? Depreciation of dollar. And rupee demand is increasing. That means rupee value is increasing. What do you call that? Appreciation of rupee. Now tell me, exchange rate is $1 is equal to 80. In this context, how it changes? Less than 80. Right? Bound. We are happy. 3 months, they are going out of India. Then what is the problem? Demand for dollar increases. When demand increases, what happens to value? Increases. Then what happens to exchange rate? Exchange rate becomes volatile. How? $1 is equal to 70 will become $1 is equal to 85, 90. Why? They want to convert their rupees into dollars, take the dollars outside India. So cultivate this kind of understanding whenever you are doing these PYQs. Okay. So as I said, I can't discuss all the 60 or 60 odd questions, but I try to discuss on the major topics. One is from banking and I focus more on external sector, and then from agriculture. Follow this approach. It will give you good results in prelims, forthcoming prelims. Okay, chalo.